Most business owners, they think they can scale with the same playbook that got them that first million. They double down on hustle. They keep firefighting. They cling to control. Know this now. What got you to 1 million will bury you before 100 million. You've heard me say this before. If your business can't grow without you, it's not a business, it's a bottleneck. So let me ask you, are you building a company that can run without you, or are you just building yourself a very demanding job? In this episode, I'm going to walk you through 5 proven strategies that separate the 1 to 10 million leaders who stall from the ones who scale to 100 million and beyond. You're not only going to learn what these strategies are, but how to apply them right now so your business grows deeper, stronger, faster, without grinding yourself into the ground. I'm Scott Joseph, host of Business Bourbon and Cigars, and founder of Me Plus Ultra. I've built companies in industries where competition is cutthroat, margins are thin, and I've seen firsthand how entrepreneurs inside our mastermind group break through in double margins, eliminate bottlenecks, and free up time to think strategically instead of constantly firefighting. What I'm about to share with you isn't the smoke and mirrors you see all over the internet. It's been tested in the rooms I'm in with 100 million plus leaders who know how to win at scale. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to break down the 5 strategies, why they matter, how to implement them, what shifts you can start making immediately. And then finally, I want to leave you with a challenge that you can apply one of these strategies in your own business this week. Years ago, when I was still in the weeds of my own company, I took a lot of pride, in being that guy who solved all the problems. If a client had an issue, I jumped in. If the sales team stumbled, I fixed it. If operations bottlenecked, I rolled up my sleeves. And that worked great until it didn't. We hit a ceiling. And instead of scaling, every solution I personally created, all it did was add more weight on me. Growth started to slow. My team stopped thinking, right? And here's the kicker. I thought I was helping by solving problems. But what I was really doing was just designing a company that couldn't function without me. And it wasn't until I got into the right room with leaders who had already built 100 million plus companies that I realized the shift. True scaling isn't about solving problems, not solving them faster at least. It's about designing systems so that those problems never have to show up again in the first place. And that's the shift I want you to hear today. Because if you're stuck between 1 and 10 million, it's not a lack of effort. It's a lack of new thinking. So here's the 5 proven strategies. First one. You got to stop solving problems and start removing them. At 1 million, you're the firefighter. At 100 million, you're the architect. When something breaks, don't just ask, how do we fix this? Ask, why does this problem exist at all? And I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. We had a Me Plus Ultra member once who realized his churn problem wasn't about client service. It was about onboarding. Those first 30 days were chaotic. Clients left within 90. And instead of patching it with discounts, he redesigned onboarding with clarity, accountability, and client-centric systems. His churn, it just plummeted. So how can you do this now? Track reoccurring problems and map them to the root cause. We used to call this our barrier board. Redesign the building instead of running to every alarm. Use your team. You can use peers in mastermind groups. Start asking sharper questions, and those people are going to help you ask sharper questions than the ones you're asking yourself. The second thing you want to do is build for clarity, not complexity. We have a Me Plus Ultra member, Michael Poro. He always says simple gets done. Early stage companies thrive on hustle. 9-figure companies thrive on clarity. Clarity is the multiplier. It's crystal clear roles, expectations, scoreboards. Without it, complexity creeps in and slows everything down. So I want you to think about accountability here. When roles and outcomes are fuzzy, no one feels true ownership. But when clarity is baked into your culture, people don't need babysitting. They run their lane with confidence. So start right now documenting what matters and strip away what doesn't. You should be asking, what would this look like if it were simple? And you just want to create visible scoreboards, right? Teams should be self-correcting without waiting on you. Are you overwhelmed trying to solve your toughest business challenges alone? Scaling, team alignment, or opportunity gaps that can feel impossible to navigate without the right guidance? With a Me Plus Ultra Mastermind Hot Seat session, you can see firsthand how top entrepreneurs tackle real problems in real time. This isn't just observation. You're actively engaging, seeing the power of the hot seat process in action, learning step-by-step problem-solving methods, and experiencing accountability and collaboration at the highest level. On top of that, you're interacting with active Me Plus Ultra members, giving you insight into the community, the relationships, and potentially opening doors for referral or nomination into the group. This is a chance to accelerate your growth in a single session. We can only allow 3 people into each mastermind session. So visit meplusultra.com/hot seat. Do it now and reserve your free access. As I said, spots are limited, 3 per session. So claim your seat today and see firsthand how powerful this process is at solving the toughest business challenges. The third strategy, I want you to multiply through people without losing the mission. And here's a leadership trap that I think impacts most leaders in the 1 to 10 million range. You hire people to do the work, but you keep all the decisions to yourself. That's not scaling. That's just micromanaging. All right. I wrote a blog titled Scale Without the Grind. And I wrote about the shift from firefighter to architect. The only way to win at scale is to build leaders who can lead without you. That requires a culture of accountability, not dependency. You know, we have one leader in our group who cut his sales team by 90%, literally from 30 to 3, and reinvested those funds in client support. It's a huge risk, but he was investing more in client-centric processes that made his clients loyal. The end result, it tripled growth in 3 years. Why? Because the people left weren't just order takers. They owned outcomes. Here's how you can do this now. It's critical that you set clear expectations and let go of control. You want to build systems of pure accountability, where teammates, they hold each other to higher standards. Get the hell out of the weeds. Your job isn't weed control. It's ecosystem design. And by the way, I think what makes great entrepreneurs is, most people probably start off working somewhere and then they become an entrepreneur, and there's a sense of wanting to be in control of things. And that makes it great. And it gets you to that 1 to 10 million range, right? But we're talking about scaling up, leveling up 10 times that to 100 million plus, right? And to do that, then all of a sudden you got to give up control, which goes against a lot of what's inside you. So it's easier said than done, but it has to happen. The fourth thing, you got to replace confidence with data-driven conviction. At 1 million, gut instincts serve you. At 100 million, they betray you. The riskiest thing isn't trusting the wrong person. It's trusting your assumptions. Leaders who scale, they build data systems that verify. They keep their scoreboards visible. They challenge assumptions early. Accountability and data, they go hand in hand. A culture that values reliable data empowers better decision-making. So define a tight set of lead indicators, not 50 dashboards. There's nothing simple about measuring everything. Build simple reporting systems that create transparency. And when something feels off, don't gloss over it. Dig until you know why. And finally, the fifth strategy, redefine risk before it redefines you. At that 1 to 10 million range, the biggest risk is playing it safe. I've seen leaders cling to a cash cow that drains morale and capacity because it's still making money. But here's the real cost. It's opportunity. One member sunset a legacy product after a group reframed the risk. Within 9 months, his new line outperformed the old one. That was fast. Would he have done it alone? Maybe, but not that fast, not that confidently. So ask, what's the opportunity cost of keeping this alive? Surround yourself with people who challenge your fear-based thinking. Most entrepreneurs, they don't think they have a comfort zone because they took risks to get to the 1 to 10 million range. But they have comfort zones. They're just new and a little larger. Don't let your ego get in the way of taking new chances. Most leaders go through this, and the ones that scale to 25, 50, 100 million, they finally realize that fear was holding them at that 1 to 10 range. They don't want to lose what they got. They don't want to fail publicly. They aren't sure if they have the knowledge to grow it more. I want you to remember this. Uncertainty, it's never going to go away. You just have to learn to move through it faster and with better frameworks. So scaling from 1 to 100 million, it's not about grinding harder. It's about thinking differently. If you're still playing the firefighter, still clinging to complexity, still bottlenecking decisions, you're not scaling, you're stalling. So here's my challenge for you. I want you to pick one of these 5 strategies that you heard today and apply it this week. Redesign one process, clarify one expectation, delegate one decision, build one scoreboard, or maybe you're going to reframe one risk. Small shifts compound fast when you think at the $100 million level. And remember this. Remember, Sandy Cerami likes to say, write that shit down. Write this down. What got you here will trap you here. What gets you to that $100 million level is never the same thing that got you to the 1 million. Listen, if you've ever wished you could see how top entrepreneurs solve real business challenges in real time, the Me Plus Ultra Hot Seat gives you exactly that. It is a front row view of one member tackling their toughest challenge, while every participant shares insights, strategies, and advice that could apply directly to your business. You're going to see the process in action, learn from the questions asked, and engage with active Me Plus Ultra members, gaining perspective and connections that will open doors for future opportunities. The first 3 people to visit meplusultra.com/hot seat are going to get free access to experience it firsthand. Don't miss this chance to see how the hot seat works and discover insights that you can apply immediately. Cheers, everyone.